Hello, hello, Charmed fam. Kristen here. Last week, as you know, I pre-recorded my video for the Charmed season 4 premiere because I was getting married. It was literally the best day of my life, and I want to thank you guys so much for the well wishes. I appreciate all of you, and I thought it'd be fun before we get into this video to share like a little snippet of some of my favorite moments from that day if you just, were curious and wanted to see. So here you go.
Mr. and Mrs. Bautista!
Yes, so those are some of my favorite moments. I just wanted to share with you guys from my wedding day, and thank you again for all the congratulations and well wishes. It really meant a lot to me and my hubby, Eric. Um, and, you know, as we, get into this week's episode, before we do that, I also wanted to remind you guys that I had this really awesome opportunity to join the Charm Season 4 roundtable discussion where we talked to Melanie Diaz, we talked to Sarah Jeffrey about this new season, and there's a video up on my channel if you've missed it where we basically just got to learn from them more about the season. So I will leave a link here to that if you want to check it out. And of course, we got to give a shout out to StreamYard for making these live streams possible. They make just live streaming and bringing in your comments and photos and videos and everything so easy. Like the fact that I can easily just bring in this comment right here. What's up, Magic Me? Congrats. Thank you so much. Oro Dane, thank you so much. My pal Madness Arcade over here. So thank you to StreamYard for making streaming so easy. And if you want your own StreamYard account, you can use my affiliate link in the description box. And again, just in general, if you want to keep supporting my channel, you want to keep supporting my Charmed content, please feel free to drop me a super chat. It would be greatly appreciated. Weddings are expensive. You girls buy a house. Yeah, we need all the help we can get. So without further ado, though, let's get into Charmed Season 4, Episode 2. As the new Charmed one comes to terms with her powers, she finds herself resistant to accepting her destiny. Mel becomes very overprotective and insistent on everyone kind of embracing this new power of 3, but Maggie's not so sure. And the girls have to find a way to accept each other when a new threat starts tracking them. So, we learn a lot about our new Charmed one in this episode. We get introduced to another supernatural creature, and this all kind of continues building up towards our big bad, the Tallyman. So some things we've learned so far about Kaela is that she was left at a fire station when she was a child. Based off of this episode, we learned that she's actually going to be that middle sister. She's not the youngest, which I think makes sense. She kind of didn't give younger sister vibes. She's going to be that middle sister vibes. We also learned that Kaela is bisexual, which I think is really cool because we don't just have Mel now representing the LGBTQ plus community. We have Kaela in there as well representing that, and we get to see a little bit more of her powers, which I'm still trying to understand. I think we're all trying to figure out what do her powers really mean? What can she do? And in this episode, I think we get to see a little bit more of what's possible. The first thing is that manifestation ability that she has, and her ability to create something, her art, and that turns into real life. So there's like these butterflies on her jacket that now she can't control, and all of a sudden they're coming off and floating around, and I think this is very overwhelming for Kayla. And at the start of this episode, we really see that. Well, really, it wasn't even just the start of this episode. It was the end of last episode. She left a note. She was leaving. She's not into this. She has her own life in Philadelphia. Does she really want to get mixed up in all this magical world? And, this is going to be dangerous. Does she really want to be involved in that? And this episode really showed kind of, that I think she sort of doesn't have an option, because now that her powers have become uh, you know, have manifested essentially, that's gonna be dangerous for anybody in her life, including her best friend Bryn. And she needs to really embrace that charmed one status in order to make sure everyone's gonna stay safe. Um, we got some comments already about the new villain for this week. Charles saying the woman was giving me very much Halloween Town Aggie vibes. Oh yeah, with the little case, kind of like the little suitcase that she had in Halloween Town. Scary Poppins, the villain of this week, was so fun. So yeah, basically what happens this week is that um Kayla doesn't know how to control her abilities, right? So she accidentally starts using her powers in front of people, regular humans like her best friend Bryn. And there's this new uh, I wouldn't even say she was necessarily the villain, but more like a magical creature that we are exposed to. Because I think the villain really is like that Tallyman. But this woman who was kind of giving off scary Poppins, Mary Poppins vibes, she was considered a Vitra, which is an ancient order of magic who stops the exposure of magic by killing anyone who exposes it to humans. So you would have thought, we might have needed that last season, right? When everybody was exposing magic to humans and giving humans magical abilities, right? Like, so I think she sounded like one of those creatures from an older generation that kind of don't get the young people nowadays. But she had this purse, like Charles was mentioning, sort of like a Halloween Town purse, where there's a monster in it, and that monster will eat anybody who exposes magic to humans. Um, so that was really fun, and I think that creature really was what sort of encouraged Kayla to be like, I need to embrace this magical ability, because look, now that hurt my friend Bryn. Luckily, Bryn's okay. And I'm hoping that she continues to make appearances, and, that they don't just kind of like ditch her now because Kayla is, being with the Charmed Ones, and now living with them. I hope that she can still keep some of her life, especially now that there's portals, right? Like, you could be traveling all over, meet up with friends, right? Um, and then, you know, I think I think there was a lot of interesting things going on in this episode with Harry, and sort of his struggle of, you know, embracing this new charmed one. And we kind of go back to that book of elders where the charmed one's names are written in, and he starts writing in this new generation of charmed ones, and Macy's name comes up red, and we're like, oh, Macy, we lost you, girl. But then the name moves down because there's another charmed one, and I'm like, has this ever happened before? Is this the first time? Like, this is pretty, like, for this world, probably very groundbreaking that there's this like fourth charmed one. I think that the way that they were tackling that just felt very like, kind of never. I know it's been done before, obviously, in the original Charm, but it felt like, oh wow, this is brand new. What does this mean? Like, I hope that they explore that more, in addition to us figuring out how Kayla's powers work more. Just like, what does this mean that there's another charmed one? Like, what does that change for everything? Um, so like I mentioned, we have this fun kind of Vitra storyline going on, trying to not expose magic to humans, but we also continue that Tallyman storyline, which I enjoy. That we're taking our time, right? We're diving into each episode, kind of continuing that overarching story while also giving us some other fun things to explore. So I really liked everything we learned about the Tallyman in this episode. The end of the last episode was crazy, with Chloe watching her sister die in front of her, and then now she has to reach out to Jordan and be like, this is whatever this being is that's, targeting insecure magical creatures. And so we learn a bit more about the Tallyman. It's something that Harry actually knows about. It's a boogeyman type of magical nursery rhyme, and I'm just like, dude, if it's a magical nursery rhyme, what makes you think it's not real? Like, Harry, why are you gonna act like this? Magic is real. Why couldn't this, nursery rhyme be based off of a real guy? And they Harry and Jordan continue to investigate what's going on with these coins, with the tally man, and trying to figure out what's going on there. And through that, they connect with a leprechaun, and they're just like kind of going on this journey to discover what's really going on with this tally man. And oh my gosh, Harry had some dark moments in this episode. I was like, is this dark Harry now? Are we back to dark Harry? He like tries to trick the leprechaun into thinking that they poisoned him if he doesn't give up the information, and then he's like kind of like, no, just kidding, that was a mind trick, I didn't really poison you. But like, I was like, Harry, my goodness, dark. um and they end up going to this house, like a cabin in the woods sort of vibe, that they say that the has a connection to this tally man. And there's booby traps in the house, and it really comes down to um Kayla coming out and trying to save Jordan and Harry. And it was cool to see, like, she basically drew on Maggie's jacket and was able to pull out an item to use to fight. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like, is she gonna have to do that every time? Like, is there gonna be I don't know, some way that she can draw in midair? I think we had also figured out that she might have like some kind of drawing ability based off that poster. um I think we were all talking about that when we first got the poster and some other information. We were like, "Oh, look at this!" Like, right, like her hands, right, the way that her hand is positioned. So, do you think that this poster is potentially teasing that down the line she won't even need a paper and pen? Maybe she can just manifest it by drawing in the air, which I think would be really cool and make it just a bit easier. So it's not like, oh, I have to bring out a pad and paper, or I gotta draw on someone's back. Like, maybe she can just be like in air and throw whatever that magical thing is out there. That's what I'm hoping that we end up seeing. I think that would be really cool. Um, Oh, we got some comments that I think are gonna, have some really cool connections to what we've been talking about. So Ray says, I think it would be, I truly think this is gonna be a magical connection. The woman she keeps drawing is a conduit to the connection. Maybe it's her mom. Yeah, there's this woman that we keep seeing in the drawings that are all over her bus, or all over the kind of graffiti, I guess, that she's doing, or murals that she's doing on the walls. Um, and yeah, that's the other thing, is we don't know, like, where Kayla comes from still. O'Dana's like, maybe she's a daughter of a former charmed one. Maybe they're related to Maggie. Maybe they have the same dad. Um, yeah. Oh, and a great point from Hermes, who says maybe the woman, the Vitra, that came and was trying to, cause chaos in this episode, she was supposed to be extinct. Maybe the Tallyman sent her. Yeah, I really want to know more about the Tallyman. I think that there's gonna be just something like really interesting going on there. Like, in the interview that I did, they talked about how the Tallyman is sort of more of like a civilian style villain. Like, you don't know who he is, his background, and I'm wondering, like, is this going to connect back to um who Kayla is? Or, maybe is there something that's going to be happening where, like, the tally man gives like a certain amount of these coins out and then becomes all powerful, and that becomes like a more of a strong adversary for the charmed ones? Like, I'm really curious. But let's continue on. So I think by the end of this episode, it feels like Kayla has sort of embraced that she's going to need to be a part of this, because no matter what, it doesn't matter if she like goes back home to Philadelphia. Everything's kind of been opened. The door's been opened. So, like, you know, villains would come, and, supernatural creatures would still come and get them, even if she wasn't with the charmed ones, now that that door's been opened and her magical ability's been, brought out. And so she decides she's going to stay with the sisters and, um, embrace this newfound power, and, train with them, and, be a charmed one. And, I think we see that Maggie is kind of not really ready for that sisterhood yet. And she's been channeling all of that energy into fighting demons with Jordan. And, Jordan's taking Harry's advice of just just be with your girl, just be with the person that you love, and don't let everything get, bad thoughts get in the way. Or, I think Harry really, I think, is regretting that he spent so much time going back and forth with Macy versus just embracing that they could actually be together. Um, and I think Mel seems like the one who's open to embracing Kayla and whatever's next for them in their destiny. She even managed to get their truck, get her school bus that she lives in into the backyard. So it was like a nice gesture. And by the end, even Harry, I think, is sort of embracing what's going on, and does write Michaela's name into that book of shadows, or not the book of shadows, but the book of elders. And I am enjoying what's been going on. I feel like we're going back to those roots. They're taking their time with everything. Not everything's being answered and resolved in one episode, and it's like, oh, okay, well, we're done. We already know who the Tallyman is. It's like, yeah, we get those fun villain of the week stories, or supernatural creatures of the week stories, but then we still have this overarching story, and everyone's kind of dealing with their grief and things on their own pace. So I really enjoy that. I also felt sort of like the fact that Jordan was the one who really wants to figure out who the Tallyman is and stop him, made me feel like, this was sort of, how in the original Charmed, they saved innocents that were humans. Maybe this is a version of that where now they're saving innocents who are magical creatures. And so I think that that's like a fun, spin on it. Let me bring up some more comments from you guys. Let's see. Let's see. Ray says, I'm digging that the new showrunners are ditching the crap and doing their own thing and paying homage to fan favorite season one. And I love the sister vibe already. I agree. I think that this is going to be, honestly, like so far, I really like this season. And I like that we're meeting all these magical creatures. I like that, all this stuff is happening the way that it is so far. I think they're doing a really good job with it. And so I'm crossing my fingers that we'll keep it up, because I remember season three, I think, I was like, "Whoa, that first episode was crazy," and I loved it. And then after that, it kind of was a lot of ups and downs. So, um, oh no, maybe that was season two. All the seasons are blending together. Whichever one where the Book of Shadows disappeared, I was like, "That was crazy," and then I kind of was like, "Oh, this is a lot of ups and downs." Let's see what else. Also, Ray, thank you very much. Uh, let's see. Or May says, Kayla may be Harry and Macy's daughter from the dream Mel and Maggie created in 318, and somehow she manifested into reality. Maybe that's where her power comes from. That's a cool idea. I've heard people say the Harry and Macy daughter thing, but I like what you brought into that of, maybe she manifested into reality. Like, that's really cool. I also like the idea of maybe this being Mel's baby, and maybe she doesn't know it, because, like, we saw last season Mel was pregnant and her future self came and took the baby back, but, like, what if there was something that went wrong and she had to leave the baby in the present day on a fire, like a firefighter, what is it called? I can't think of the word. A fire station door, like that. You never know, you never know. And I think that'd be cool, especially if it's sort of this mystery that even Kayla doesn't really know, like, where she comes from, but then we all figured out together, which I think would be different than, the fact that they had in the OG Chris coming from the future to work with his aunts and his mom. I think that would make it like a different type of vibe. Um, let's see. Got some more comments. Um, I hope the showrunners shut down, that they are not moving along with the baby plot. New showrunners and all the side characters from last season are dumped. There's already been two or three new characters they're bringing in themselves. Yeah, there's some new characters in. I just hope that they, are able to bring a little bit of, like, more consistency. Like, um I'm cool with the baby storylines. I think those were kind of fun. And so if it turns out that Kayla is, one of their kids, like, that would be really interesting. But I do hope that they, like, stay more consistent in, like, who they're introducing, and, you know, who they're bringing back from the past and things like that. Like, I already like that Josefina was, like, a part of this season already. And Ray says Mel is redeeming herself with Kayla, especially how she treated Macy in her introduction. Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like the opposite. I mean, not really quite the opposite because I don't think Maggie is like against Kayla. I think she's just still grieving. But yeah, it definitely seems like Mel is the one more like on board with this new charmed one, whereas like in the first season, she was not really so on board with finding out she had a new sister. Let's see. I feel like she isn't related to them at all, and she manifested herself into life to be a charmed one. But where did that come from? How would she manifest herself? You know, like, ah, I want to know. I want to know. Um, let's see. Kayla's mural of this woman has S27 painted on her neck, and based on Joey Falco, who is one of the new showrunners, it means Station 27, the fire station she was left at as a baby. Interesting. Yeah. So maybe, I mean, maybe she's had dreams of her mom, you know? And just because that's her mom doesn't mean that, like, somebody else couldn't be in the picture, you know, like that Mel, maybe Mel could have had some kind of relationship. Or, I mean, maybe Harry, I don't know, Jordan, maybe not Harry or Jordan, because I feel like then Kayla would have some kind of white lighter esque abilities. So, yeah, I'm curious. I really want to know like what's the deal? Who is her mom? Who are her parents? Where does she come from? Is she related to the charmed ones? Um, I'm curious. I'm curious. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I think it would be really cool also if they did this. If each sister gets transformed into a magical creature, like Maggie could become a mermaid. That would be really fun. And I think that they've teased a lot of fun things this season, but yeah, it would be really fun if they like turned into mermaids or, you know, turned into, you know, other magical creatures, which they did in the original series a bunch of times as well, you know, turning into like the goddesses or something. And I know that they've teased, right, leprechauns. They've teased something with like a merman, which I think is cool because we don't, you don't really ever see a merman. So I think that'll be interesting. Um, they've also teased that Sarah Jeffrey's going to sing a little bit, which we love to see. Let's see what else everybody's saying. Ray says, I hope they keep the magic very grounded with them and stay out of time and space storylines for characters and leave that to WandaVision with the Scarlet Witch. I mean, they did say that they're going to be doing a time traveling episode, so I don't know if that kind of already goes against what you were talking about, but you know, I think I'm excited to see what they do, and I just hope they continue to go outside the box a little bit. You know, this is a show about magical beings, and so I do feel like the first season we got to see a lot of stuff, and then in the last two and like seasons 2 and 3 they kind of only focused on like very specific things and everything was very dark and everything, you know. I'm excited that they're like opening up the magical world more. We're going to see more magical creatures, you know. It feels lighter and brighter and not so dark and like rah, even though this is a season where they're dealing with grief, and I think that that's great. I'm glad that they're able to bring some more of that lightness and some more of the you know, the magical creatures and expand the story more. um but yeah, so guys, this was a really fun episode. I'm excited, and I feel like so far the season's going really good. I don't know, what do you guys think? I like these first 2 episodes a lot. It feels more consistent, and I think you can tell that the people who are show running, you know, have been around the seasons and have been around since potentially even season 1 and kind of know what we all want to see more of. Um yeah. A couple of other comments before we wrap up. Let's see. If you have anything else you want to throw in, any super chats, any comments, throw it in now because I'm going to wrap up in the next like 2 minutes. Devil Shaggy says, I think it's interesting that the Tallyman is a nursery rhyme figure that they use to keep magical children from misbehaving. Right? I know. That is very ironic. And again, how does Harry not think like, oh, this might be real? I mean, magic's real. Of course, the Tallyman could be real. Sean saying, I need more action. That fight with the grandma purse lady and the monster killing her really irritated my spirit. I'm like, I need more regular use of magic and more hand-to-hand combat scenes. I agree. I think that is my like one kind of criticism over the course of the entire series is that sometimes it feels like the magic, like when they're gonna fight somebody, is like so easy. And I'm like, how did they do it in the original series? Like it's like they get it done so quickly. And I would love to see more of like a fight, more of like there's more going on there before it's like the person's just vanquished. We got Z saying maybe Marisol used her ability to see the future and possibly saw Macy dying and decided to have more children. I don't know. There's a lot of secret kids. Like, I don't know. I think it would be too much if this was another secret kid, right? I don't know. Marisol, girl, why are you keeping so many secrets? Um, that's so NJ saying, I think this season's gonna be really good. I think so too. I'm feeling optimistic. I liked these 2 episodes that we've had so far. Um, going into the next one, the sneak peek was sort of like, I think hinting at like the leprechaun having more of a story, and I'm just interested. I'm interested to see what they do next. Um, Anthony saying, I really love that we got flashbacks of Macy. That was one of the biggest flaws of the OG was not showing Prue again. Yeah, that was more of I think they didn't have the rights to show her anymore. But yeah, I'm glad that that's not the case with this show, that like they've shown like clips, they've shown pictures of her already in these 2 episodes. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Congrats. Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, so I'm excited for where this new season is going to continue to go. I hope we continue to see people like Chloe the Pixie come back. I think that they are starting to show some other magic, but I think they can. We just want more. I know Ray is like, we need more spells and potions and mishaps and trials with the magic. We need to see them developing their spellcraft. Yeah, like this episode, they did show like this like binocular lotion that Mel had that she could like look through walls. That was kind of cool. It would have been nice to see her maybe make that, or like look up how to make it, I guess. But I hope they continue to show us more in the magical world, more in the magical community. And hey, like, it'd be really cool is if, we already saw Chloe the Pixie. We know a couple of other people are coming back. Maybe by the end of the season, the Charmed ones realize that, like, yes, they have, the power of 3, but maybe they need the magical community to put a stop to the Tallyman, and they can all work together as a community. That would be really cute. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Charmed and talking with me about it. And I'll answer this one as well really quick. Ray asking what my day job is, if I work in communications or journalism. So I've worked my day job, I work at MTV doing social media. I've worked there for like the last 9 years. And then my like side hustle is like my own journalistic platforms with Pop Culture Planet, which you guys have seen my podcast episodes and my website and everything like that, and my YouTube channel, obviously. So yeah, that's kind of like, this is like my side hustle that I would love to grow into something bigger. But yeah, so that's my work experience. Yeah, so I'm senior manager of social media at MTV, and then also TV film critic extraordinaire, doing these videos and articles and things like that for Pop Culture Planet. Thank you, Ray. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching these episodes every week and talking with me about them. I'm glad we could do this live stream again. And I'll be back next week to talk even more Charmed. And again, don't forget, I have that roundtable discussion with Melanie Diaz, with Sarah Jeffrey up. If you want to check it out, they talked about a lot of stuff coming in this season, a little bit of hints about Ruby, so make sure to check that out. Thank you guys again, and I will catch you in my next video. And again, just a reminder, I don't just do Charmed videos. I have tons and tons of other shows and movies that I talk about and interviews that I do, so make sure to check those out as well. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out the exclusive Discord available on my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!